What's up, everybody? Rob here, back with another episode of Wasting Wildcards here on Multi5. And this week, I am playing something spicy. Literally, I'm playing some mono red. So I've been kind of going through a bunch of different companions, playing different decks. I played a Lurrus deck, played a couple of Mori decks, and now I'm on to Obosh. So Obosh the Preypiercer, for those who are not familiar, the deck building restriction is your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. So it's kind of like Garuda, but flopped around. And the benefit of playing Obosh, other than the fact that you have a sweet 3/5 that does stuff in your opening hand, essentially, is if you have a source or you have something with an odd converted mana cost do damage to your opponent, it doubles that damage. So it's kind of like, what's his name? Torbjorn? No, that's the guy from Overwatch. You know, the dude with the beard. It's like him, but on crack. So instead of just getting an extra 2 damage, it doubles the damage. So what are we playing? It's kind of similar to what you're used to, but also a little different. So the 1-drop slot is very similar to what you would see in like a Cavalcade red deck. You've got the Fervent Champions, the Grim Initiates, Scorch Spitters, Tin Street Dodgers, 1 Gingerbrute, and 2 Shocks. So this is a deck that I just pulled off of MTG Goldfish that looked pretty good. After playing a few times, I think I would actually probably up the Shock count, maybe, and go down the Gingerbrute. The Gingerbrute has the benefit of being unblockable at times, so maybe you don't want to do that and you want to cut down on like a Grim Initiate or something. But I do think Shocks are powerful, and I'm thinking maybe we want more Shocks. But we'll see. We'll play a couple games and we'll see what we think. We've got to skip the 2 drops and go straight to 3 drops, where we've got Bonecrusher Giants, Anax, Phoenix of the Ash, Light of the Stage, and Heraldic Banner. Now, you may be familiar with Banner if you played some of the white weenie decks that were kind of on the fringes of past standards. It's a very good card in this deck. It basically brings you straight from your 3rd turn to your 5th turn, so you can get that Obosh down a turn early and pump up all of your 1-drops. So the card works really, really well in this deck. We're playing 22 lands in this deck, so a little high for a red deck, but again, we're playing a 5-drop, so we need to be able to cast to the 5-drop, so we're going to need that many lands. This isn't the 13 mountain best of 1 red deck of arenas past, but it is quite good, and I've been ranking up pretty darn easily with it. On the sideboard, we got a couple Claim the Firstborn, Redcap Melees, Shadow Spears, Act of Treasons, another Bonecrusher Giant, and 2 Tybalts. So nothing really crazy jumping out here. It's just kind of a red deck wins, but with Obosh. So you go real wide, you slam an Obosh, and you do a lot of damage. So if you're into red decks, I think they're okay right now. I think this is probably the most competitive deck I've played in a long time, and yeah, I'm pretty excited to play it. I'm a big fan of a good red deck wins. All right, so game 1 here. We are on the draw, and we have a 1-lander. Now, we do have a bunch of 1-drops, but like I said in the deck tech, you really want your lands in this one, so we're gonna have to mulligan, unfortunately. Oh, this is rough, but I think we keep. Maybe toss a Phoenix down there. Yeah, so you really want to hit your mana here. You've got a ton of 1-drops that you just want to play. You've got your 3-drops and a 5-drop, so you can't really just get by with just your 1-drops. I mean, maybe if you're super lucky you can, but I have not found it to be the way to go. All right, so we're up against Gruul Aggro here, a deck that is, I'm not sure if this specific build is kind of what's popular right now, but I know builds of Gruul have been kind of popping up again. All right, so Gruul is a tricky one because, so we could play a light up this stage and try to really secure our mana to play Obosh on curve, or we could just play a Scorch Spitter, leave up a Bonecrusher Giants, just bash in with a Phoenix of Ash. I think I'm going to do this and hold up a Bonecrusher Giant. If they present the ability for a trade here, although it has hexproof, so disregard that. I always forget that it gives both of these things hexproof. But again, if it gives us an opportunity to kill something, it's never a bad idea. Cool. I'm down to kill myself a Gallia. So let's put on full control here so we can kill it before it gets its trigger. Turn on full control. So they're going to hit us for 3 here. That's fine. No blocks. Here I'm going to let's get in with Scorch Spitter. And I think I'm just going to play a Bonecrusher Giant that I can trade with the Spellbreaker, and we'll hit up a light up the stage here. So we could just slam Obosh next turn, and it has 5 toughness, which is really good in this matchup. And our opponent's stuck on lands right now, so they're not slamming an Embercleave anytime soon, which is going to be really good for us. Could be Collision Colossus here, which be a bummer. But, I mean, only taking 4. It's a lot better than 7. All right, so I'm not going to slam Obosh. Really just want to kind of build up our battlefield here. Already played our land, so we'll play Grim Initiate, and we'll play another Bonecrusher Giant. So if they attack with everybody again, they collision again. All right, so they can't use the pump spell. So we can start double spelling now. And I'm going to attack with Bonecrusher Giant. I have 2 things to block here. Phoenix of the Ash can come back indefinitely, and my graveyard is not really stocked, but it's stocked enough. I can start escaping it if I need to. And yeah, still can't cast an Embercleave, so the only real blowout potential our opponent has right now is Collision Colossus. I'm trying to think. Okay, so we're in a pretty okay spot right now. All right, so now is the perfect time to play Obosh. So if I attack right now with Anax and it makes contact, they lose. So they have to block, which is great for us. And Phoenix of the Ash is going to do 4. It still leaves a good amount of blockers. Man, if Anax had Trample, could you imagine? So here we're just going to kind of block with everybody because they do now have mana for an Embercleave if they attack with both. And if they attack with both, they're clearly representing an Embercleave, so we really need to take that into consideration. So the Bonecrusher Giant is the biggest threat here. So let's just do this. It's kind of the best we can do. There's a goddamn fly flying around in here, and I don't like it. Gonna cleave me? Gonna cleave me? If they don't have an Embercleave here, we're gonna be in pretty good condition. If they have 2 Collision Colossuses, we're gonna be in pretty bad condition. It's a weird way to say that, but we're gonna be in rough shape. I keep getting distracted. There's a weird sparkly light coming in through my window. All right, so we got there. We survived a cleave. Our opponent's not giving it in just yet. Let's pump this baby up. Okay, we got there. Okay, so our opponent stumbled, which was very lucky for us. They're playing Gruul, kind of very traditional Gruul aggro. So let's bring in Shadow Spears to gain some life. Redcap Melee hits Zerta and hits a good amount of stuff, but it doesn't hit everything. We'll bring in like an Act of Treason in case they have something spicy. Let's go down a land, down a banner. Grim Initiate gives us a second blocker. Scorch Spitter. Gingerbrute. I feel like we could trim on like one. Fervent Champion actually is probably the worst one drop in this matchup. Let's bring a Redcap Melee in. It gets blocked by everything in their deck. We don't have a lot of Knight synergies other than multiple Fervent Champions attacking with themselves. So I think that's probably what we want to do. And I think we can get by with this. We've got Tin Street Dodger and Light Up the Stage, which is a really nice little combo. Our opponent, no one drop, so we're going to start with the Scorch Spitter here. Kind of get our 2 damage turned on for this turn. Robber the Rich, okay. Hitting our Light Up the Stage is not a good time. Although, luckily, we do have one. Hit our 3rd land, which is awesome. So let's just shock this guy, get him out of the way. Let's not worry about that. And let's go Tin Street Dodger. Get him for 3. So we're in okay shape. They could play like a Spellbreaker, and we have the melee for it. Once they get up to like Questing Beast mana, then things become a little more difficult. All right, they're just on the Robber of the Rich plan, I guess. Don't know why they would play a card, why they would play their land tapped when they know they had to Light Up the Stage. Because they could have just taken the Light Up the Stage. All right, so we're also going to Light Up the Stage now. And we will Gingerbrute. And this is an instant. So we will stop before their combat step in case there's something better to kill with Redcap Melee. If not, we're just going to hit the Robber of the Rich again. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot here. Again, our opponent playing kind of not the most aggressive of Gruul decks. It's kind of slow. I know Gruul mana sucks, but like just like little things like playing the Stomping Ground first main phase tapped, and then being unable to cast their Light Up the Stage they stole from me seems like a huge punt. Coming from somebody who punts all the time and is not very good at the game. So we're going to just kill that guy right now. Get that out of here. Okay, and they got nothing else to do, so we're in a good spot to just continue to bash. I mean, Robber the Rich actually seems... I can't... Flame sweeps. It's always the flame sweeps. How much does this thing cost a second? I can't do it. Bummer. A lot of people playing Flame Sweep nowadays. Not a bad little card. Not a bad little card. Although a sweeper, pretty good with this guy. All right, so let's get our Obosh out now. It's got 5 toughness. Nothing they can kill it with just straight up. They're gonna have to use a combat trick for it. And that would give us the opportunity next turn to play Phoenix of the Ash or Bonecrusher Giant or something like that. Domri's Ambush. Ooh, that would do it. That would do it. That's an answer. That is an actual answer. All right. Good on them. Good on them. So this is going to be a little tricky here. So we'll get rid of this little dancer. Play Bonecrusher, pass the turn. So now we're in a very tight race. They got a 5/5. We have no Obosh. Their 5/5 is Trample, and they got an answer. All right, they got it this time. They got it this time. That Flame Sweep. All right, well, now we know our opponent's playing Flame Sweep, and that is definitely something we're going to play around. That feels bad. That definitely feels bad. All right, well, there's not too much we can do about it. I feel okay with our plans there. Going down in the land of the banner didn't feel like it hurt us much. So we got to think about the ambush when we have our got our Obosh out there. I think we keep this. If we can stick a Shadow Spear to something beefy, we're gonna do pretty good. If we can stick a Shadow Spear and then get an Obosh and then double the damage on like an Anax, whoo, whoo. You ever gain 16 life against an aggro deck? With an aggro deck, feels good. It's like when you play Core Firewalker. Is it Core Firewalker? You know, little 2-mana white guy. Gains you a life anytime a red spell's played. You know what I'm talking about. It's good stuff. Good stuff. And this feller can get equipped for free. Something I always forget Fervent Champion has. It's like that one line of text. You're just like, oh yeah, what's that? 3 less to activate. It's real good. I've seen people in Modern actually play it in like a Naya Zoo deck because you can equip the swords to it for free, which is quite good. We're going to get rid of their stupid Robber of the Rich. We're going to bash in again, gain more life. So as you can see, this is why Shadow Spear is real good. Not to mention it's actually pretty good against Gruul Spellbreaker because it can turn off its hexproof, which I don't think is going to be particularly relevant. All right, so probably going to get Flame Swept here. I don't think our opponent would have passed with 3 mana without having Flame Sweep. Good day, gentlemen. But that's what we got. That's what we got. We have not drawn any lands. That's a bummer. All right, well, if we had the lands, this might have turned out a little better. 2/2 First Strike's actually pretty good against the Gallia here, though. No blacks. So we actually got a good little life buffer there, which is going to come in handy. Sweet. So we've got our 3rd mana. Let's get our Anax out here. Give us something with 3 toughness to block with. And we're definitely just going to keep bashing. They're at 9 life. I doubt they're running Shadow Spear. So the lower we can get them, we can burn them out potentially. We've got Phoenix of the Ash for a hasty threat they can't block. And if we can get Obosh out there and stick the Shadow Spear. Honestly, just getting the Shadow Spear on the Anax next turn would be a huge, huge, huge get for us. Definitely not going to block here. They can't Embercleave, but they can Collision Colossus. Which is fine. They could ambush, I guess, now. Yeah. Do get a little body left behind, though. It's never a bad time. All right, so if we Act of Treason... discard our Phoenix of the Ash, draw a couple cards. Let's do it. Ooh, what a fun little synergy that is. Ooh. Hit our land, got another Phoenix. That was nice. That was a nice little surprise there. And yeah, end turn. All right, we got a flyer. Got 19 life. I think we're gonna get there. I think we're gonna get there. I like that. Given my Satyr +1/+1. What a silly little thing. What if there's some kind of like Anax, Gallia nonsense? Do we just Phoenix of the Ash? Do you got it? Do you got it? Do you have the answer? Do you have collision colossus again? Do you have the sole answer? Ooh, you got it. All right. All right. You live to fight another day, my friend. You live to fight another day. They got a lot of birds to stop now, and we've got graveyard fodder, so Questing Beast is not going to do it. Sorry, friend. It's not going to do it. Yeah, do it up. That's fine. They would have had to attack with everything. Discard, draw a mountain, and exactly shock. Luckily, of all the things on Questing Beast, it does not have reach. And we got there. All right. That felt good. I like me a good close game. Rank me up, baby. Get me to diamond. Let's go to mythic. Let's red you dead all the way. All right, so that felt pretty good. The deck performed pretty well. Our opponent's deck was kind of I wouldn't say it was a very relevant deck in the meta. It can put up some pressure and stuff, but I mean, let's see if we can get a win against something we've heard of before, you know, something that's a real deck in Standard to see actually how well the red deck is going to do in Standard. All right, so game 2 here with Obosh red deck wins, and we're going first, and I think this is a keep. We've got 2 1-drops and a light of the stage, which is usually a recipe for some moderate success, and it looks like we're playing against another Obosh deck. All right, a German friend, Guten Tag, mein Freund. Let's see who can do it. Just check some nonsense on my second monitor. I'm ripping a bunch of DVDs because I'm bored in quarantine, and let's digitize some stuff. All right, so I'm curious what my opponent's playing, if they're playing the red deck or if they're playing something spicier. I know there's some like Obosh sacrifice decks because Mayhem Devil with an Obosh out is completely bonkers and horrifying to play against, so looks like we might be doing that. All right, so if our deck has an enemy, it is 100% Mayhem Devil. So we're going to have to win fast. We don't have many 3 damage spells. Luckily, in our sideboard, we have a couple answers. All right, we're going to hit our mana. I'm going to get all stressed out now. It's a race. It's a race to beat the Mayhem Devil. If that's what they're playing. But a Temple of Malice, an Obosh, you know, a Knight of the Ebon Legion, Cauldron Familiar. I have a feeling. Let's attack here, see what they do. We can kill the Knight with our Bonecrusher Giant. All right, that's a trade I'll take. And we'll get our Anax out of the exile zone there. Next turn, we've got some 3-drops. It'd be cool to at least get prepared to get our Obosh out here. All right, so once again, I'm just going to attack here. Just going to Bonecrusher Giant. I'll leave up our additional Bonecrusher Giant. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Not ideal, not the perfect use for our mana, but we do have another Bonecrusher Giant to kill something that's not a Mayhem Devil. So they're 1 turn away from Obosh, which is also a huge problem for our deck. Murderous Rider, okay. At least we're getting a couple of little dudes here. All right, so let's go Grim Initiant, Anax. So basically what we have to do now is we need to play our Obosh and present a lethal right then and there. So if we play that, our Anax will be a 5/5, which would represent lethal. And we got there first, luckily. So they have to block Anax here. They're going to take 4. We're going to get 2 more tokens. I wish these counted as 1 because, good God, that would be buck wild. But yeah, next turn, we're looking to... All right, we got there. I was going to say we could Phoenix of the Ash next turn. I don't think they play any flyers. I still think they are probably playing Mayhem Devil. It just seems like the deck. So let's bring Shadow Spears in, and we're going to bring in the Melees because that's really our only chance of survival. Let's do what we did last time, trim a land and trim the Heraldic Banner, see how that goes. They don't have anything that... Fervent Champion, again, not great. This at least leaves a body behind. Maybe we do a split like that. And maybe we just do 3 Anax because it's legendary. Although usually I just throw them out there anyway, as you just saw. Yeah, all right. So our opponent is playing Rakdos something with Obosh. We're on the draw. I would keep this. This is tough. This could be a really good hand, and it could be a huge regret. We have 2 draw steps to get a land. Screw it, man. Live fast, die young. Live fast, die fast. Play red, die fast. Whatever, we're keeping it. We're going to be greedy, and we're going to see how greedy plays out. All right, they got a Scorpion. Oh my God, greed is good. I'm just going to pass the turn here. Hold up my shock. I guess kill the Scorpion. Next turn we can get in with a couple hasters. Bring our opponent back to normal. Stupid life gain. All right, so... All right, so this is actually pretty sweet. We got our mana. We're going to be able to banner next turn and play our Shadow Spear. Our opponent keeps blocking with the Cauldron Familiar, which is pretty sweet. Not getting their engine going online. Woe Strider. Okay. It's definitely an annoying card, but... We're 1 mana away. So I'm definitely going to present the trade here. Their graveyards aren't nearly big enough. All right, so just getting a little bit of value, trying to scry. If we draw land, we'll be able to Obosh next turn. If not, we can Shadow Spear, Tin Street Dodger up and make him unblockable. Start gaining some life, race that way. Or let's see. So if we banner, we can make 2 mana and equip and just get in. Let's just do that. And we'll hold up our Bonecrusher Giant to potentially kill the Woe Strider. All right, yeah, let's kill the Woe Strider. So next turn, I can play Phoenix of the Ash and Shadow Spirit and start racing, which might be what I want to do. 5/5 Flying Lifelink. We've got ourselves an angel here. A very flaming turkey ass looking angel. Bontu's gonna do a lot of damage. But you know what? We can counteract that. What a swingy goddamn game. Holy crap. All right. Do we get it? Do we get there? Murderous Rider. We don't get there. So this should do 8 damage, right? Die, please. And we can go Bonecrusher Giants, Fervent Champion, and end the turn. So you don't have to worry about crazy double damage here. All right, so they got the Obosh. They're at 1 life. Oh my god, our opponent is living on the edge. I think that may have just kind of sealed it for us. I'm just going to do this. And we got there. All right, our opponent got pretty greedy with that last little removal thing there. But we got to bash in with a friggin' Phoenix Angel equivalent and just go back and forth with Oboshes. That was pretty awesome. That was a pretty cool game. That was very swingy. I liked it. Got to see our deck do some stuff. We got a cool Angel of Vitality, a card that I clearly don't have 4 of already. But yeah, this has been Obosh Red. Is Obosh back? That's a dumb sentence. Of course he's back. He's new. Is Mono Red back is what I meant to say. I think so. I think there's some changes that could be done to the deck. Like I mentioned before, Shock seems really good once you have Obosh out. It does 4 damage. But maybe that's not necessary because we kind of saw after the fact, once we got into sideboard games, bringing in Redcap Melee, that thing does 8 damage to red creatures. And just, I mean, it does 8 damage to anything if you're willing to sacrifice a land. So maybe you can sideboard accordingly and not necessarily need as much main deck burn. But yeah, I'm very impressed with that. That was against 2 aggro decks, so we got to see Shadow Spear. That was really like we really got to see our sideboard shine. But again, I mean, it just got to show that red decks can still win. They still have what it takes. We didn't get to go against any Urian, Garuda, Luris, any of the like real top decks, any of the real scary decks. But I mean, the deck as like a thesis statement, we got to see that it does work quite well, and I was impressed by it. If you guys are playing red decks or just aggro decks in general that aren't kind of the mainstream decks, let me know. I'm always down for a nice new aggro deck, and I was very impressed with this one. So I might mess around with some other Obosh decks, just kind of see what's out there, think of interesting things that cause damage and see how they get doubled. I really liked the Redcap Melee interaction against our opponent's Obosh. That felt real good. So yeah, if you guys have any cool stuff, let me know. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Yeah, we're just trying to build up this little YouTube thing, so any help we can get is appreciated. Thanks for watching.